I recently learned that there's a museum out there called the Museum of Failure that houses some of the most ambitious catastrophes of all time. You know, people who came up with some wacky inventions that they thought they were gonna make it big, only to realize that they're not gonna revolutionize the world, they're just speedrunning bankruptcy. This type of museum is actually right up my alley because, you know, as much as I love going to the history museums to look at the dinosaur bones and the suits of armor and all of that, I just feel like it's always the same thing, you know? They never come out with some new undiscovered dinosaur species or something, so when I heard that the latest addition to the Museum of Failure was going to be Concord, it had me smiling for some reason. You know, Concord was like a brand new undiscovered dinosaur species that just went extinct in like 2 weeks. The game's now being considered for one of the biggest failures in video game history, and well, after learning about that, I kind of just wanted to see what else the Museum of Failure has to offer. Now, this is what they say here on their website. It says, the Museum of Failure is a collection of failed products and services from around the world. The museum has over 200 items and new artifacts are added every year. Innovation needs failure. All progress, not only technological progress, is built on learning from past failures and mistakes. The museum provides unique insight into the tricky business of innovation and new product development. Most innovation projects fail, and we showcase these failures to learn from them. That sounds all cute and whatever, that you want to learn from them. I'm pretty sure a lot of people just want to look at them and sort of like laugh and remember, you know, go like, huh, I can't believe that was actually a thing.
The Museum of Failure is a collection of failed innovation. We have food stuff, high-tech stuff, old items, new items. They're obscure items from around the world.
That's very obscure. Wait. Four Loko was a failed product? I thought people were still selling this, right? Wasn't this just a bunch of caffeine mixed in with alcohol? And that was actually killing people? Well, I guess it makes sense it turned into a failed product. Alright, here we go. This is the digital disasters. This is the interesting stuff, because you have the Rabbit R1, the Humane AI pin. These two are very recent, actually. The Rabbit R1 was an AI-powered handheld device, I like how they call it was, that promised to do anything your phone could, just faster. In reality, it couldn't do much of anything. The company built hype around its unique AI model, Lamb, which was supposedly task-oriented, but the R1 only had 4 apps: Spotify, Midjourney, DoorDash, and Uber. It couldn't order food nor hail a cab. And what's the point of having DoorDash or Uber? It even failed at basic tasks like setting a timer or sending an email, and the battery lasted about an hour. That is a disgusting device. Wow, that's awful. Yeah, I remember a lot of people clowning on this device because of the fact that it didn't really do what it's supposed to do, and it was a $200 hardware toy that you just kept apart from your phone. And like the Humane AI pin was sort of like on the same boat, because this one was just a screenless device that projected into the wearer's hand. You could actually just see like, hey, oh, look, that's the time, cool. Your phone just does whatever they do, and you know, just exponentially better, faster, it's more convenient. You don't have to carry an extra item apart from your phone. So yeah, these were never really gonna go anywhere. Now Concord though, yeah, I can't wait to go to the Museum of Failure in person and see like the PlayStation 5 Concord little cartridge. Not cartridge, you know, the box with the box art. Alright, it says Sony's video game Concord was released in August 2024. The game took 8 years to develop, but was pulled off the market after only 2 weeks. Development began just as the genre-defining hit Overwatch launched, of which the gaming community is certain Concord was a blatant imitation. I mean, yeah, you spend 5 seconds looking at Concord gameplay, you're like, oh, this is just Overwatch, but uglier. While making a spin-off of a great game isn't inherently bad, and that's true, I mean, just look at Paladins, doing so nearly a decade later in a market oversaturated with similar games is naive. Especially when most games like Concord today are free. Concord charged $40, and not doing marketing is not so smart either. I mean, that's true. You know, whenever I learned about Concord was people talking about how Concord had no marketing. I learned about Concord because people were criticizing Concord and saying like, hey, this game is bad, it's gonna flop. That's the only reason I even learned about it in the first place. Most gamers only learn about Concord when news of its failure spread. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. With fewer than 700 players at its peak, it was called one of the biggest failures in gaming that the industry has ever seen. Alright, I can't wait to see the exhibition for this one. I'm honestly surprised that Cyberpunk 2077 is here because I remember people talking about the fact that through consistent updates, the game is actually good now. You know, yeah, on release, it was absolutely terrible. It was just garbage. But from what people are saying, it's actually really good to play Cyberpunk 2077 now. Apple Pippin. Who calls a device an Apple Pippin? Apple has failed many times on its way to becoming the most successful company on earth. Pippin was Apple's failed internet-capable TV gaming console that only lasted on the market for 2 years. I mean, with a name like that, of course it's only gonna last 2 years. It flopped because it cost 3 times more than a Nintendo 64 and it only had 18 games. PC World named Pippin one of the 25 worst tech products of all time. So this thing was supposed to compete with the Nintendo 64. The Pippin. I don't know what's worse, this this or the Apple Vision Pro? Which, is that here? No, you have the Google Stadia though. Now that was awful. This one was a disaster. Expectations were high when the tech giant Google decided to revolutionize gaming. As a new device streamed games directly, no expensive hardware was required. Honestly, I never understood what was the big issue with Stadia. I know why it failed, but the concept seemed nice enough, you know, like just play games by only using the controller, that's all you need. It was just Netflix but for video games. But now we have Netflix actually having video games, which is a weird thing. You know, if you have Netflix on your mobile app, you can actually play games on Netflix. It's weird. Atari, E.T., the game, No Man's Sky. Okay, no, you can't put No Man's Sky here. This actually had the biggest redemption arc in history, all right? No Man's Sky is not a failure. I mean, it definitely was. It was a disaster when it first released. But now, No Man's Sky is actually pretty good. Critics called it the worst game of the year, the biggest lie of 2016, and a disappointment of the year. The gameplay was lackluster, the graphics were unpolished, the story was repetitive, and the planets were boring, so who cares that there are 18 quintillion of them? Rejuvenique toning mask.
What the hell is this? It's an
I would want to
facial
try
mask. It makes you as beautiful as Linda Evans from the TV show Dynasty. How?
No idea how that is. Shocking your face. Okay, that sounds actually kind of fun. Like, I don't know about you guys, I would kind of try that. I know me and my friends used to just use those massage therapy electroshock devices, and we would just like put as many of them as we could in our bodies, you know, just start shocking ourselves for fun. Putting one in your face, pretty sure that would work out perfectly.
It's called the Museum of Failure, and it
Twitter
features
Peak?
a lot of...
Was it just like a device for Twitter and that's it? What exactly is a Twitter Peak? What was that? It was $200 for a device that only ran Twitter. Yeah, of course this was gonna fail, man. Of course.
So imagine you're on Zoom calls or you're
That looks fun. That actually looks fun. I would try that.
Anything accomplished.
So if we go ahead and scroll down on the website, they have the exhibitions based off categories: digital disasters, medical mishaps. What were they thinking? Bad taste, so close and yet... Oh wait, this was the Engage. I remember wanting one of those things. Yeah, the Nokia Engage. You could play games on this thing. It was a phone and a video game console. The Engage was not a failure of ideas, it was a failure of implementation. Back in the year 2000, many people carried both mobile phones and handheld gaming devices. In practice, it wasn't so genius since the Engage had to be disassembled to change games. What? Okay, I didn't know that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Apple Newton, Laserdisc, New Spoons. Was this supposed to be like a spoon? Matthew, the inventor of New Spoon, has donated his creation to the Museum of Failure. What is that?
Good morning. This is how you fold a new spoon. Well, my spoon's not working right.
This is just like a piece of
That's not
paper?
how you fold a new spoon.
That is just a piece of paper.
How you fold a new spoon. Is this how you fold a new spoon?
Made from environmentally friendly paper, New Spoon was developed as an alternative to plastic spoons. The clever origami folding spoon was impossible to sell, naturally. Although it was environmentally friendly, New Spoon wasn't user-friendly. People couldn't understand how to fold the spoon. Matthew told us his mother's garage was full of new spoons. The USA $2 bill. I don't know why this was considered a failure. You know, it was fine. It's just two monies. It says in the 1930s, a $2 bill gained a bad reputation as it was often used for political bribes. Oh, the $2 also happened to be the price for a prostitute at the time, and gamblers were considered the $2 unlucky. The Nintendo Virtual Boy. The interesting thing about this is that if you actually go to the Nintendo Museum, they have a list of all their failed products there, not just this one. So yeah, if you want dedicated Nintendo failures, the Nintendo Museum's probably like a good one to check out, but obviously it's in Japan. E.T. the game for Atari. Okay, I was looking over their Instagram and they just have this one, you know, right front and center on the page, and it says, in a 5-week rush of Christmas '82, Atari launched the E.T. video game, which quickly became notorious for its clunky and frustrating gameplay. Despite 1.5 million sales, it contributed to a 536 million loss in 1983, and is now remembered as one of the worst games ever made. So you gotta really ask yourself, which one did the most damage? Well, I guess, you know, E.T. affected the industry as a whole. Concord was just an isolated event that just failed once, and now we just laugh at it, but it didn't really like impact the industry. Okay, so that was digital disasters. Medical mishaps. They have the lobotomy thing. Lobotomy tools. The lobotomy was a surgical procedure to treat psychiatric patients. The orbitoclast, a lobotomy tool, was hammered into the upper part of the eye socket about 7 centimeters into the brain and wiggled around to destroy brain tissue. Who actually thought this was a great idea? This is a terrible idea. The most famous lobotomy patient was Rosemary Kennedy, President Kennedy's sister. Though the procedure was a family secret, the family learned from its mistakes and founded the Special Olympics in honor of their sister Rosemary. I mean, yeah, you know what happens when people get lobotomies. They get lobotomized. They enter that state of permanent lobotomy. Okay. Rely tampons. I kind of don't want to learn about this one. Kent Micronite. Cigarettes have never been healthy. Kent claimed that they created the greatest health protection in cigarette history with an innovative new filter called Micronite. The secret ingredient of this innovation, asbestos. Yes, cancer-causing asbestos. Man, people were smoking asbestos. Oh crap. So yeah, the filter on the cigarette was just literally asbestos. It's just like, oh, don't worry about the nicotine, don't worry about the tobacco or anything like that. Here, just inhale some asbestos instead. Sure, yeah, that's gonna work. That's gonna work. It's just amazing how people come up with these ideas at the time and they're like, this is gonna revolutionize the industry, no questions asked, and then it's just asbestos in your cigarettes. Oh yeah, I remember this one, the Spotify car thing. So this was basically a hardware device that went on your car so you can listen to Spotify on your device or something like that. But then they discontinued support for the device, so everyone who bought it was just left with a piece of hardware that just didn't work because I was like, it's one purpose. In April 2021, Spotify announced a cleverly titled Car Thing, a small touchscreen device for playing music in your car via Bluetooth. The entire reason for Spotify's existence is for people to listen to music on their phones without a second device. And now they've created a standalone device that can only run Spotify. Right, that doesn't make any sense. It's just dumb. Released in 2022, it left everyone asking why. The Car Thing was priced at $89.99. No. A pretty steep cost for something completely unnecessary since all modern cars and phones already do this, but hey, at least Spotify offered refunds to the unfortunate few who bought it. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. Like, even if you're using an extremely outdated car that doesn't have a stereo or something, at the very least, you can just play music directly from your phone. Like, this device is pointless. It really is. Out of all the ones that I've seen here that actually look interesting, the Hawaii chair.
Take the work out of your workout. The Hawaii chair.
You know, Tamara, the Hawaii chair wasn't designed just for home. I mean, after all, for some of us, at least 40 hours of our
I don't know if you could actually work out by doing that.
The office.
The chair's doing the movement for you, right? So you're just like,
chair, we sent Aaron Lee
no,
to work.
It doesn't work.
Hi,
I mean, maybe it
Aaron
works.
Lee
I don't know. I'd have to
with
try it or
USA,
something.
And today we've brought the Hawaii chair to a very busy work environment. Let's get some first-time reactions.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
You look like an idiot.
My abs.
I can really feel this working.
Hawaii chair while answering phones, using the
her, she's
computer,
struggling.
balancing books, or filing paperwork.
Oh man.
You can hardly call this work.
I can't believe people really just come up with this sort of stuff and go like, man, I can't wait to become millionaires or something. No, selling points included stimulating body awareness and verve while massaging inner organs. It just seems uncomfortable more than anything else.